Hello, welcome to the second video of my Lille tournament recap. The second video is about the championship day. The first day I swept my whole group. I went 5-0, really solid plays combined with good team compositions, and then I had the opportunity to take it all on day 2. My first opponent was Colin, also from the Netherlands, who was running a Sableye G-Fizz core, which was something I really struggled with. At this point on day 2, you can actually watch the streams back. You can see the opponent's moveset, and with the Mandibuzz and Jellicent, I'm not too comfortable with that. So this game here, I swap into, I lead Licky into the Medicham and swap into Nidoqueen to bait out the G-Fisk, and I already start making my first misplay. My misplay here is not that the bait fails per se. You bait if you want to flip this. But I don't want to flip this, right? I just want to bait out the Galarian Stunfisk, which was my plan all along. I didn't need switch because I knew there was going to be a Sableye in the back. So if I got this, just land the Earth Power here, I'm basically really fine. They shield my actual Earth Power. They were from a little bit too much that I can get to my Poison Fang, which will do no damage. But I'm not in a great spot here. I also think I lost track of counts in this game already because there's so many matchups going on. Either way, plan already kind of failed. It's not all lost though, because Mandibuzz in the back is looking very strong here. Right, that was my plan all along. Bait out the Galarian Stunfisk and possibly sweep with my Mandibuzz, because it does look good against the Medicham and Sableye. But yeah, this was already a little bit of an uphill battle. Colin told me later he practiced a little bit with his faction teammates, and I didn't practice at all. I was like, nah, everyone plays different. But he played a really solid team composition. If I lead Jellicent, there's no way I have something like a Medicham to beat his Stunfisk, to counter his Stunfisk very hard, right? So very strong team composition from him there. If I lead Nidoqueen, there's no way I have Medicham in the back either. That'd be very weak to a Sableye lead. So that was a bit of a smack in the face. I kind of had a feeling beforehand he would lead Medicham. However, I just didn't have the courage to do it, which is unfortunate, I guess. At this point, I think it's over already. I don't know what I needed at this point, but it's pretty much over. Mandibuzz is somewhat scared to bring when there's an Azumarill on the opposing team, but I didn't expect it from him since I have Registeel, Nidoqueen, Lickitung, and Jellicent. But yeah, I already said the day before to a couple people, not to Colin obviously, that it's unlike that I don't really want to bring Jellicent until it's absolutely necessary, because it can be running anything. It can be a surprise, so I don't want to use it until it's absolutely necessary. And after this first loss, I got a bit scared, right? So I dropped my ball on the table and I was like, okay, I have to go to the basis of my core, which is bringing the Jelly Mandy core, which works out really well here, leading Jellicent into the Medicham, and he save swaps the Lickitung, and I have my Mandibuzz for that, which is incredible. At this point, I cannot be stopped anymore, because even a Galarian Stunfisk in the back or a Sableye will not flip this game for him anymore, because I just have all the hard checks here. This looks very RPS, as the chat would say. Yeah, Mandibuzz resisting licks here, throwing the neutral dark pulses. This is a matchup I win very convincingly, and then I come out with energy for that Medicham. 1 or 2 aerial aces will do a lot of damage. 2 aerial aces would actually might even put it into the red. So yeah, a little bit of boring matchup there, Mandibuzz versus Lickitung, but obviously I don't care. I got the Pokemons exactly where I need them to be. And I know I could do one more Snore here, but I wasn't very sure because like our pacing is the same. So I could have, but I just want to be safe there. Tying my move ball here so I can assure that that if I were to get another aerial ace, that with this timing I can. And I might be able to. I need to survive 3 counts, and I barely do with my Mandibuzz. It's not the best Mandibuzz, but it was good enough to get to this aerial ace here. And this will put the Medicham even lower into the red. My opponent swaps into the Sableye right away, and look at me nodding. I already know how this goes. I have the Lickitung here, and there is no shot that this Sableye will get through it. The best thing my opponent can do at this point is maybe preserve some foul plays and snipe me with the Metagem when shields are down. But even then, Jellicent doesn't feint to one of these foul plays, and I will probably just bubble it down. That's the only thing I revealed on it so far. It really has been a game of alignment here, so... I let this move go. I can't take it. At this point, I think I should keep the shields for the Jellicent because the bubbles do a little bit more than the licks. But yeah, this should be good. Throwing a Power Whip here to assure the KO or the last shield. And I should be pretty close to my next one. My opponent doesn't throw. I think he wanted to catch or something. But even then, there was no shot anymore at that point. So yeah, just licking it down here and that should be game. So at this point, I got my courage and used some more risky Pokemon into Jellicent and Mandibuzz core, what I started off initially. And then third game, I was so close to leading Registeel, but I led Jellicent again, expecting that my opponent is like, there's no way they expect me to lead Metagem 3 times. And he told me afterwards he almost did. Anyway, this isn't the worst still, because Registeel wins the 0 shields here if I get that defense drop. The attack drop, which I just did. So I can now get a shield advantage here or flip this matchup. And depending on what's in the back, I might want Switch. I thought it was like Sableye in the back, so Switch could be pretty nice to have my Mandibuzz on it, or just a shield advantage to farm down with the Jellicent, which I guess I was going to do at this point because these double debuffed Psychics are not going to do a lot. I can just comfortably farm this down, but my opponent makes an incredible play by swapping out immediately, and my Registeel is already gone, so I can't hard answer this anymore. I'll throw the Ice Beam here. This will do about 50 to 60% damage, and he shields it actually, going 2 shields down. And at this point, I'm a little bit confused. I think I need to preserve my Jellicent in case it is the G-Fisk, but I also need to bring my Mandibuzz in at some point. So I'm trying to like... what is the right word there, to preserve both of each so I can take out whatever's in the back. But I was also afraid of a Lickitung, of course, because usually when someone swaps out, it indicates that they're not very weak to the Jellicent in the back at all. They get to another Skytech here. I mean, Noctowl is not very offense weighted, so... or very attack weighted. I can take that Skytech pretty comfortably, and then I'll go for the Aerial Ace, which is 5 less energy. They already knew beforehand that I have Dark Pulse, which is 50 energy. Anything that saves a little bit helps. And at this point, I knew I screwed up. That it was the G-Fisk in the back. I should have known, to be honest, that it was going to be ABB against the Registeel, but I didn't. I didn't read it correctly. Usually I look at my sheets during the charge moves. I guess I didn't this time or something. I need to survive this Rock Slide and get to the Shadow Ball. They're very close to the Psychic, so I can't shoot it, and they barely get that much shot down. If I get that Shadow Ball off, I probably win this game, but... or maybe not, because I don't get to the Aerial Ace here. So yeah, that's a tough first round. 0-3, right, or sorry, 1-2 right off the bat against Colin. Yeah, what can I say? It wasn't an easy matchup. I think I had a lot of play, though. And just getting the leads correctly there was a bit difficult. I got it in game 2, but game 1 was just an awful play in game 3. Yeah, it was just a bit unfortunate there. Trying to get the best out of my Jellicent and Mandibuzz, but they both just barely weren't able to pull through there. Now... this isn't the end of the show, though, because you can have one loss in a Play Pokemon tournament, in a double elimination tournament. So I'm going to the losers bracket now against my good friend The Nut 93, who's running the same team as Toad Tactical. Toad Tactical actually stole his team, and I did not want to face this team because it's very tough for me. But this is going to be pretty fun. You should definitely look at the expressions on our faces. We're very good friends, and we're also both a little bit of clowns. Now, this is not a bad matchup for my Registeel, because my Registeel is just good enough to survive the third Earthquake if I double shield the first 2, right? So with the Mudshot, with the Mudshot damage, I should be able to get to the last Earthquake. But I catch his Earthquake here, knowing it's gonna be Frostlass in the back. The Shadow Ball does more, so I'd rather eat this here. I know that the Frostlass is in the back there, so I'll just catch it on Metagem. And then I was thinking, should I shield this or not? If I get 2 shields, I can easily land my Focus Blast on the G-Fisk. So I decide to shield that and then go for that Psychic just one before his next Avalanche. And he does shoot that, so that goes quite accordingly to plan. I was a little bit disappointed he didn't let me get to that move, as you can tell by my face there. And now I'll bring in the Registeel again. This Shadow Ball will do about 40%. I probably should have waited the clock a little bit, so I may have been able to catch that on my Lickitung, but that's fine. This will do quite some damage. But what I didn't think of is he is not going to bring in the G-Fisk on my Registeel unless it's a Noctowl in the back, and it's not. It's Venusaur, and this really threw me off. I was just a little bit confused in my play, I guess. So yeah, that's well played by him, of course, taking the Zap Cannon here and not on the G-Fisk. And at this point, it's already difficult because the Venusaur has so much energy. Shadow Frenzy, even debuffed, is going to do so much from my Lickitung. And with the Mud Shots, I'm almost in Earthquake range at this point. In fact, if I let that Earthquake land, he can farm me down. So what I need to do is land another Power Whip here and then lock on him down. I think that's my play. That's my only play. I don't expect him to bait here. He is, he knows how it works, right? He just needs to get to another Earthquake and win that. So, very tough for me. Very tough for me there. I think my only play is to catch a Shadow Ball on Lickitung, but you're asking that's asking for a very wicked play. That's not easy to pull off, of course, especially when you're playing on. This is probably the highest level of Pokemon Go. So yeah, unfortunate for me. Bad alignment, bad team comp, and yeah, I don't think I had to play exceptionally well to get that one. But we have another game here. Against my good friend, the Nut93. I lead Registeel into Shadow Venusaur. This is neutral, slightly favorable for Registeel, but I don't like it. Because again, it's going to be that Frostlass in the back, and that's screwing me over here, because Frostlass hits 4 out of 6 of my Pokemon for super effective damage, and the charge moves it has are just so good. It can one-shot basically almost everything, or get close to it at least. First Zap Cannon comes through, and no debuff. That's horrible for me. He throws the Frenzy immediately. Yeah, this is gonna get very difficult. I don't even want to throw my move here, because I think if I do, he will farm me down with one of his Pokemon in the back, and once his Frostlass gets energy advantage, when my Registeel is gone, it's basically over, so I can't let that happen. I didn't really catch, he just threw the Sludge Bomb regardless. But I take the Sludge Bomb on the Mandibuzz, and he brings in that Galarian Stunfisk. This is not the worst matchup. If you have a really good Mandibuzz, you can actually take 3 Rock Slides, and I'm not sure if you can win the matchup, but you can make it to like 1 HP here. And here I'm mocking the Nut a little bit. I said something like, oh, look at me, I'm the Nut. I can time my moves really well. Oh. Because, well, he timed his move well, right? He knows the game. And he throws, well, he could have done a little bit more Mud Shots, but it doesn't really matter. Rock Slide's coming in, that will take me out, and now I want the farm on my Medicham, because this was the key to winning my matchup. Medicham with energy. His Frostlass's energy is good, but so is my Medicham with energy, because he cannot bring that Venusaur ever against a Medicham with energy advantage. Now at this point, Medicham with an energy advantage, but a shield down against that Frostlass. I bait the Ice Punch correctly here. He does not like that, and he's countering my moves very well, so we CMP on the Shadow Ball here. Not the greatest for me. And honestly, I think at this point I even lost count, because I don't think I was playing very well on Sunday. Either way, Psychic coming through, it doesn't KO yet. I might be in an okay spot here, but then I catch the Shadow Ball here. I lose the Zap Cannon, but I can't have either of his Pokemon get farm on me, so I think this was the correct play. And now I have to counter both of his Pokemons down. Now if the Venusaur has energy, it might not be able to, but the Venusaur is dry. He even told me, and I said, okay, I trust you, I won't throw charge moves in. Thank you. So yeah, that was my only win condition at that point. That I need my Registeel on the Frostlass, and I'm just not getting it there. See if I can do it in game 3. The finals against Inadequance versus the Nut93, and I have a good lead here finally. But look at my team. My whole team takes super effective damage from Frostlass, and here it comes. Frostlass save swap. I'm going to mock the Nut here. This is an extremely pointless aerial ace against Frostlass. He looked up, so I was afraid he would see that I didn't do it. Taunting him a little bit. That was so unnecessary there. If you have a good Mandibuzz, again, a good Mandibuzz would survive the avalanche from here, but I'm not sure if mine could, and then reach the Dark Pulse, because that's what I really needed. Gonna throw this Dark Pulse here. I need 1 Snarl and 2 Aerial Ace Baits, I believe, to outpace this Frostlass to its moves, but I'm not going to at this point anymore, and I'm going to sacrifice my Jellicent because it's completely useless against that Venusaur, even though I could shield this, but I know I survive. I have a good Jellicent. I could shield it and get to an Ice Beam on the Venusaur potentially, but then again, if he is able to preserve his Frostlass, that's gonna be difficult. And now I said, I have something in the bag you're not gonna like. You're gonna lose. But what I expected was a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. Little did I know he had his own Medicham. He anticipated to me bring that Medicham over and over. He read very well what I was doing. And now he baits the Avalanche, which I shield. I mean, this would do massive damage regardless. And then I'm farming perfectly. I'm waiting 1 turn here to see if he tries to catch or not. And he does try to catch. Now his Frostus is 1 off an Avalanche, which is terrible. This is terrible. I need to manage my energy perfectly. I need to be able to one-shot the Venusaur later, and I need to take care of this thing here. Now, if it was the Galarian Stunfisk, there was no problem, but he adapted. So that's tough for me. I tried to catch the Psychic here, because I don't see much value in my Mandibuzz anymore. Anywhere where the nut can now get energy on my Mandibuzz, it's not useful anymore, because I need my own energy to be able to prevent him from getting to a move. So now, again, I waited half a turn to see if he catched or not. I don't think his time was even up. And what I should have done here was undercharge just a little bit to get a little bit more farm. But then I get an Avalanche range, so I couldn't do that either. Now he tries to go into Frostus right away to get that Avalanche off. And I know at this point I couldn't throw this, because now I will CMP with the Venusaur. I get 1 more counter on that undercharge. And will I outpace? We CMP on that move. And that's a very good game with the Nut 93. I think the shoutcasters were absolutely screaming on this one, and it was a sight to see. And yeah, here we see a little bit of a hug between me and the Nut 93. Obviously, you can see the disappointment on my face. That's just what it is. I don't think my plays were very good on the second day. Very poor team compositions on my side. I don't think I played bad against the Nut per se. I don't think I played bad, but my team compositions just weren't great, and I think that cost me. In the end, Colin won it all, so which was very deserved. He played extremely well, so big congratulations to him. The only thing I want to do here is to just give Nuralkar a shout out once more. Please give him a follow, because he's the one who makes it possible for us to see these streams and this content, which is amazing. I hope you like the videos. Maybe I'll be in more Pokemon Go regionals soon. I had a really good time, so we'll see. I hope you like the video and have a good one.